The Insider Gaming app is the fastest, cleanest, and most personalized way to stay connected to the gaming world. Anytime, anywhere. Get all your news in one place with fewer ads, more features, and a design built for how you actually read on your phone. And if that's not enough, unlock Insider Gaming Premium or Premium Plus for ad-free browsing, personalized feeds, weekly subscriber-only podcasts, and so much more. Download the Insider Gaming app today for free on Google Play or the App Store. The Insider Gaming app is the I had it on loop. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Insider Gaming Weekly, a video game podcast. I wanted to get the point home that we have an app. You should download it. It's finally out on iOS. Mike Stry here, as always, joined by my co-senior editor, Grant Taylor Hill, A to the P, Albert Perkins, and Tom, the Gong Lord Henderson, is back after a week away. Fellas, it's a holiday week on the stateside. I don't know how AP and I are here, but how was your Thursday?
Man, I mean, it's Thanksgiving weekend. You know, I'm like super busy, but I always have to make time for Insider Gaming Weekly, a video game podcast, the best podcast available on the internet. It's worth it, you know. Mike, how was your Thanksgiving?
Uneventful.
Yeah.
Went to my mother's. The kids had a blast, but I don't mess around with Thanksgiving food, traditional food. So I had myself some fried chicken.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. That's
I don't like
different.
turkey. I don't like turkey. I don't like sweet potatoes. I don't like green bean casserole. I don't like mashed potato. I don't like any of that nonsense.
What?
If it was up to me, I'd have like a brisket. But my family are boring.
I mean,
they want their dry turkey.
I can't knock you whenever it comes to brisket, obviously, but like, what about all those sides you mentioned that you don't like? I bet Chad's going nuts about that.
No one made mac and cheese. I was so mad.
Oh,
so I'm like,
came to my house, man.
I should have had to make it.
Wow, crazy.
Is that like a recent thing that you've not liked? Well, the food, or
never did. Traditional Thanksgiving food is so just bleh.
Oh.
I think it's that, like, I don't know. I feel like traditions are changing so much lately, like, especially in the past few years. Maybe it's just because we're all getting older, but even Christmas, like, you know, where we live on the other side of the pond, people are talking about having Chinese and Indian and all that kind of stuff for Christmas instead of the traditional Christmas dinner. And I'm like, man, you can't beat a Christmas dinner, though.
See, we Christmas dinner for us is never ham. It's always some sort of Italian dinner.
I've heard of that before. Yeah, that's cool.
Benefit of having an Italian mother.
Yeah, I think one time we had like lasagna for Christmas one year. It was really good.
Lasagna,
homemade, of course. Yeah.
Lasagna.
Grant, how you doing, man? Quiet over there.
I'm good, man. No extravagant dinners or anything in my review though. Like Tom said, like Christmas it's changed now. But if I did want to do something different, it'd be a Japanese Christmas, because you know what the tradition is in Japan. It's KFC on Christmas Day, man. That's what the tradition is in Japan.
No,
is it?
Are you serious?
Bro, that's incredible.
Ever since like the 80s or something.
There. That's incredible. Yeah, it is.
That makes me so happy. Speaking of KFC, one of my friends is one of the 11 people that KFC follows on Twitter.
Really?
They only follow 11 herbs and spices, and his name is Herb, and they follow him.
No way.
Yeah, he's a writer for Axios, and they follow him.
Oh
Scribner.
my god, man, that's great.
Scribner, and they follow.
I need to have looking over right now.
Their social media manager needs a raise. That's
he's one of the 11 herbs and spices. You ready? Hold on. You ready for this? They follow.
Yeah, I see.
A bunch of herbs. They follow Sporty Spice, Scary Spice, Baby Spice.
I love it.
They follow all the Spice Girls who are on Twitter.
That's
herbs.
Freaking
that's genius.
Yeah,
it's so good. I'm so move over, Wendy's. KFC gets the raise.
100%.
But this is the Insider Gaming Weekly, a video game podcast coming to you every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Twitter, wherever you get your shows. After the fact, it is available on demand. We are brought to you by the new Insider Gaming app. Download free on iOS and Android. If you're interested and you want more, the Insider Gaming app guarantees less ads, faster load time, easier browsing. But if you want no ads, custom feeds, custom notifications, Discord perks, and exclusive shows like the debuting Access Granted with Roger Craig Smith that went up this week, you can sign up for Insider Gaming Premium or Premium Plus. Do so within the app. Help support us as we continue to grow. There wasn't a lot of news this week, but there still are some things to talk about. And rather than what we've been playing, there's a few things we got to touch on. And one of them, I've been waiting to this because I want your opinion to see if I was overreacting or if I'm right to feel this way. Do you guys know of the H3H3 podcast and that group over there?
Is that the guy with who always wears the beanie and he thinks he looks really cool?
Yeah, but he looks like
cool.
Yeah.
That guy.
Well, I was mentioned on their show this week.
Oh.
Now, mind you, I don't follow them. I don't know anybody other than Ethan on that show just because he was so filled in my news. It's the only reason I know his name. But I was mentioned on this show this week over my coverage of Half-Life 3 because I had reported that I had heard last week, especially on the show, I gave like an update because people kept asking me what's going on. That I was told the date, would not report the date unless I had definitive proof that date existed. But what I could say is that the sources told me that they were adamant that the game will be revealed this year. There's 4 weeks left in the year. So either the people I've talked to were wrong or Valve changed it. And the reason I haven't put the date out is we talked about the canary trap that Valve has a history of doing where they give different dates out to try and catch leakers.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I've been comparing notes with a lot of known people who cover Valve day in, day out, who cover Half-Life day in and day out, other journalists to compare notes. And we're still trying to figure out, like, all right, is the date in the mix of all the days we've been told? We're all trying to still figure this out. This has been ongoing. So what they decided to do, because someone asked if there was any information on, I think, Tuesday afternoon. I was like, no, it's been quiet. It's a holiday week. They're a US-based company. I expect it to be quiet. But immediately, Reddit ran with that. The Half-Life Reddit went nuts. And then they bring me up on the show. And during this segment, now I don't know any of these people's names. I just know one's in a stupid hat. And it's not even the main one. It's a hat that doesn't even cover your ears. Like, what's the point of a beanie? Brought up the fact someone sent me the clip, and it was me being referred to as a bullshitter, a liar, and saying I said it would be revealed last week, which I never said. And then they had the nerve to compare Insider Gaming to IGN as far as our YouTube follower count. And I got mad.
Bro.
I don't like I put a lot of work into what I do, and to be called a liar, like that pissed me off. So I made it known. And then I'm going to show that. I need to just show this real quick. Their entire, I got to get the image so I can actually show you, because apparently I don't have the image loaded, but we're going to get this loaded. A trip to their Reddit. Is nothing but me for like 3 days. Because I was being overly sensitive.
I mean, it's one of them though, right? Like, I think that's what these people are known for, is like just this absolute hatred. I mean, we've got people like that in our own community, right? Like, that just feed on that negativity. So, I mean, it does suck, but I definitely wouldn't take it to heart because they don't really understand our industry and how reporting works. And again, like, I can tell that they're just that type of community that feeds into that negative light rather than, sunshines and rainbows.
Yeah,
it
was annoying.
bullshit, but,
it was annoying. But they did do an apology supposedly on a paywalled episode. So I haven't seen it or heard it. I just have to go by the amount of people who have gone after me on social media over the past 4 days has been so frustrating, to the point of it's just that my muting and blocking finger is hurting, because that's how it is. It's just, that's it.
That's maddening. Why come after our YouTube channel too? Like,
we only have 9,000 subscribers. Hey, we are fast approaching 10,000 on this bad boy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right.
Sons of guns.
Not
but,
only that, but like it hasn't even been like
so,
out that long.
We've only been heavily doing it for like a year.
Yeah, hey, come on.
Yeah, it was exactly fuzzy pussy. Who cares about the truth when you can rage? And that's the thing. It's like, it's just the idea of people putting words in my mouth. That's always sat wrong with me. And then you have the community saying, well, someone can't take a joke or it's all done. That's part of a bit. Again, I don't watch them. I can only go by what people send me, go and watch the clips that are publicly available and see what they say. And yeah, so there's that.
You're never going to win as well, though, right? Like, this is probably going to get clipped and mashed up, and we're all probably going to get the hate now. But like, probably, you just never win against people like that. So it is what it is, man. Just try and ignore them and move on and keep doing the good work that you're doing, and that's all you can do.
Speaking of work, before we get into the main topic, which is AI's place in gaming, a special fun dystopian one this week. There were some stories need to catch up on, some things that have gone up. If you missed Insider Gaming Developer Spotlight with the developers of Dispatch is up now on the YouTube channel. You could check that out. Like I said, Insider Gaming Premium Plus, Grant's interview, which is fantastic and has gotten wide praise, by the way, from those who've listened to it with Roger Craig Smith, is out now on the app. And we've dropped our first episode of Party Chat. We decided to give a little treat yesterday for free on the YouTube channel with Jez Corden, Tom and I talking about that. Tom, you were gone last week. Do you want to tell the people where you were and what you were doing? Anything fun?
I
put him right on the spot.
So first I went to
were you or were you not playing Knights of the Old Republic?
Maybe. I am under some NDAs for some of the stuff that I did do, but first I went to France to pursue some stories. You might know of a company that's based in France. They've got a CEO called Yves Guillemot. Yeah. And then from there, I then went from France back home for 12 hours and then got on a flight to Vancouver to pursue some stories and do some top secret things that I can't talk about just yet. But it was all good. First time in Canada, really loved it. The weather in Vancouver was identical to the UK, because I think that's like the warmest part of Canada. Because you've got the sea and then you've got the mountains and all the moisture and the warmth and all that kind of stuff gets trapped in between. So like I was like at home, and it was just so much better than the UK. Just everything about it. It's just ungodly expensive. But yeah, I think I'll be making a few more trips over there over the course of the next year. So
the next city will be Toronto, because you got to stake out Ubisoft Toronto because they're working on that Splinter Cell remake.
I know that there's a meme going around like they're not working on it and all that kind of stuff, but they are, right? Like I've seen quite a lot of footage and screenshots and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty well familiar with it, and you know, maybe over the course of the next few months I'll do an update on it. But Ubisoft at the moment is just in one of those really weird places because of the subsidiary and all that kind of stuff, right? So things are just moving around all over the place. But I'll hopefully have something a bit more concrete on that. But I'm just looking forward to Ubisoft Forward when they do one, because they skipped it this year, and they have quite an interesting lineup of games. In my opinion, at least, anyway. So,
speaking of that lineup, we talked last week on the show. There were 2 exclusives dropped at Insider Gaming. One on Assassin's Creed Black Flag, coming out the last week, is slated to come out the last week of March, and Prince of Persia planned for mid-January with a possible update or a next look at the Game Awards. Now, Nate the Hate came out and said he wasn't expecting. This is his speculation. He wasn't expecting it at the Game Awards. But logically, it makes too much sense if you're not going to do it and you're going to release the game in mid-January. Yeah. Either you're shadow dropping in mid-January with nothing, or you are going to show something in the next week or a couple weeks.
Yeah, So you sent me that over on Discord, full transparency, and then I looked back, so I didn't believe that I said it would be at the Game Awards, but I did reply to someone and said almost certainly it will be. But going back to your original report, you said sources said that it's likely to be, around that time. And I think logically it makes sense. I know that the official Prince of Persia account did actually tweet out saying we look forward to sharing more next year. I don't know if that was like a mistype where like they meant we look forward to show you more as in like release the game or whatever. But from what I know is that the game is currently scheduled to release on January 16th, I believe, just off the top of my head. I think 16th is it probably a Friday. Just correct me if I'm wrong. And that's when it's going to release, and the marketing is scheduled to go live a month before, right? So that makes perfect sense for the Game Awards, unless they want to skip that and
lines right up, yeah.
They don't want to kind of have it shrouded by all of these other, typically big announcements that the Game Awards have, then that's fine. But I would expect, sometime in December that we will get Prince of Persia news, unless they are going to shadow drop it, which would be surprising. I don't think they could afford to shadow drop a game like that, but we'll see. But yeah.
With that, the main topic of this week was going to be, and it still is, AI in video games. It's been hugely discussed, and it is one of those things of it's not going away at this point. And it's gotten to a point where trying to figure out where it actually sits in this industry is going to be the next logical step for game development just in general. Because we see people going after games like Call of Duty and Activision and Treyarch and Raven for using what appear to be AI generated images in things like their calling cards and badges, prestige badges and stuff. People in different ways going after Embark with what they've done in the finals and what they've used it for in Arc Raiders. But then you have all of these games coming out where there's disclaimers. We use AI in this way. We use AI in this way. And at this point, it's kind of hard to see it not continuing this way. You can't avoid it. And you have big names in the industry coming up, like Tim Sweeney saying these disclaimers kind of don't matter. And then you have others saying, well, if you use AI, it just proves you're not creative. You've been quiet, Grant, and I want to go straight to the capitalist of the show, the money man of the show. Where do you land in general on AI game development and just its use?
Dance. I wanted to do the dance or anything. I could.
You have
but
to.
I'm
You
not
gotta
gonna.
stand up.
I haven't got the kicks on or anything, man. No, you know what? It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things where it never stops getting talked about in gaming. And it's like you look at all these other industries that use it, right? Like I was looking at some facts and figures and metrics and whatever. And it's not even like the growth of AI in the games development space isn't comparable to some other areas. Like I looked at like e-commerce, retail, fintech, the medical industry, like hospitals and stuff. It's growing so much faster there. And I feel like no one's addressing that, right? I think the only reason they look at it in gaming so much is because gaming was always inherently a creative thing. And I suppose people think, artists using AI to render these calling cards and stuff is wrong because, you're taken away from the legitimacy of someone who spent their whole life honing their talents in artistry, which is probably one of the only darker areas that I really see it, right? And voice acting, voice replication. If they do it in a way that's foul and distasteful, then, fair play, hold them up to the fire, right? But with Embark, it's a different thing. People, as far as we know, people signed contracts, people were paid, and then they went away, knowing fully what they were signing up for. And the game is an absolute marvel, and we can't put it down. But like in general, it's no big. I mean, for me, it might sound a bit silly, but like it's a non-starter, I think, right? So I look at it and I think AI in gaming is it's just an obvious thing. People saying like, where's it going to go? How's it going to evolve? Like, it's already been around for years. It's not anywhere close to where it can be like peak wise or whatever. I assume it's going to get way more in depth, but you look at some of the numbers, right? I have facts and figures. I came with facts and figures. I came with receipts, man. There was a survey, 615 developers polled across the USA, Korea, Norway, Finland, Sweden. 90% of developers are using AI in some respect. In some areas more than others, obviously. Level design. It speeds up level design by 50% when using procedural generation. That's what they'll do. We've seen it in games like Starfield, for example. They used it excessively in Starfield to just render these massive, huge environments in a way that they would never be able to with traditional development methods. They say up to 40% of content creation in AAA titles is attributed to AI, Gen AI in some way. And then you look at the other things sort of beyond that bit, like QA, for example. QA is now AI heavy. Customer support is AI heavy. Anti-cheat is AI heavy. It's, NPC modeling and behavior, AI heavy. It's like, it's not even a thing where people are saying like, oh, it's where's it going to go? It's already gone. Like, it's here, right? And it's just, I saw one that referenced indie developers, specifically looking at small teams and single indie developers, saying that how it is a boon for them because they can do things broader and faster and more effectively than they ever would have been able to working with such a small team and a small budget. Like, AI enables them to get there faster and in a more effective way. So they're living it up. I said anti-cheat. Look at all the numbers that are coming out, like Ricochet from Call of Duty, Javelin from EA. I can't remember what Rainbow Six one, what Ubisoft's anti-cheat is called. But there as well, they've got machine learning and AI models like really driving down the number of the impact of cheating. They published some stuff today from Javelin saying that something like in the open beta, there were like 300, 1.2 million or something cheating attempts were blocked just in the open beta alone. And the majority of this is being driven by AI and machine learning. So it's like where's the negative? And we start to look at, okay, cool. So maybe we're talking about layoffs, right? They invest more in AI, they invest less in people. I looked at that as well because I wanted to see what the numbers were on that. And very few, if any at all, polls, surveys, research packets, anything show a correlation or a numerical correlation, like this is exactly the number between a rise of AI and the fall of human developers, right? This kind of churn is always expected in industry. It's got worse recently because of, cash flow, inflation, whatever, cost efficiencies. But there is not one number that says these people have been laid off specifically because of AI or whatever. Obviously, behind the scenes, yeah, fine, it will happen. But there's nothing tangible about it, So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like, it's not a case of it's coming in, it's a case of it's here. And it's a case of like, it's, we throw around, where's it going to go? Is it a bubble or whatever? Like, no, this is inevitable. People are suddenly realizing now that AI is immensely beneficial. And if you're fighting back against it, who was that guy? Who was the guy that was chopping at the tide, trying to turn back the tide? Some Greek guy or something. You're doing that. You're someone standing on a beach with a stick hitting the ocean, trying to fight the tide back. It's here to stay. It's here to evolve. And I, for one, think it's a good thing because of all the ways that it is doing good.
It's this weird thing because I've seen it. If it's done the right way, that's honestly been something that we've seen, and I think we can all agree with. If a studio's coming out and saying, hey, if the studio were to come out and say, hey, we're cutting 50% of the staff and replacing them all with, Gemini, there's going to be a big uprising.
Yeah.
But if it's using, like for me on the development front, I don't like to see it used in QA as much as it has been. We've already seen a lot of games suffer from QA problems to where if you're using it as a tool along with the people, fine. If you're replacing and using it solely relying on AI for QA, you're running out because QA is only the AI used for QA is only trained on what's been done in the past.
Yeah.
People like those analysts can find something that you're not expecting to find. And exactly. But on the development side, I say this from my web development stuff. Now I do freelance web development, web apps ranging in big monster ones to small little single pages. I could tell you that using Copilot in Visual Studio Code has made my web applications come back or finish so much quicker. But where using it is the way that I think it needs to be used, as a tool for the developer to learn and improve efficiency, not just here, I'm going to put all my stuff in AI, prompt it, and then whatever it gets, it gets. It's because I know what it's spitting out. I can troubleshoot what's spitting out and go. So it's this weird thing. It's not going to go. The only place I hate seeing it is seeing it in art creation. That is the only place I think where I go. Coding, fine. Just make sure whoever's managing it knows what to look for, because AI is inherently flawed at any sort of security coding. That's just what it is. Everybody who uses it will tell you that.
Yeah. And in our industry as well, right? In our industry, journalism, right? The amount of times we'll go on a website and we've seen it all the time. You can spot it a mile off an AI-written article. They have the same format, they have the same tells, it's deadly obvious. And that's obviously one area where I hugely frown upon that, because if I ever talk to anyone about journalism, right? Because sometimes you feel like you got to educate people as to what you do. You introduce yourself. Oh, I'm a games journalist. What does that mean? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And then, the subject of AI often comes up, and they say, oh, you're being, you're going to be made irrelevant in a few years. And I'm, what's the word? Pragmatic? Is that the word? I know that. I say to them, get it while the going's good, because in a couple of years, traditional journalism is not going to exist. AI can hit breaking news just as fast as anyone else in the world can right now. All it is the contextualization of it, the human element that you pull in with things that AI can't do, that it will be able to eventually, like we talk about putting together anything opinion driven or a good interview or things like that. Like you can go into any number of things, but eventually my job is going to be swallowed by AI. And I'm fully, I respect that that's going to be the way of it, and I'll deal with that when it comes around. And I think that, like, anyone across any industry that's in a tech focus should be fully, like, no one's safe, right? I mean, I've been transparent. I have a day job, right? I have like many of us do. I have a day job, fully in the tech sector. And fully something that next week they could turn around and say, you know what, AI's replaced you, you're out. But I think what's the difference with, like, it's just a realization point, right? Of saying that I appreciate that can happen, and it might happen, and it maybe will happen. And there's nothing I can really do about that necessarily. And when it comes to game developments, people saying they're going to boycott this game or that game for whatever they're doing, we've said it before. We've had arguments like this before. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Xbox once, talking about the Xbox price increase, and they say, I'm going to boycott it. I'm going to cancel my subscription. I'm not going to pay or whatever. And these things blow over so quick. I feel like that was a blip, and then everyone's forgotten about it. And I think AI will be the same. It'll get to a point eventually where people just won't care about it, and it'll just become part of life. And all this hoo-ha will be for nothing, and people will just be moving on to what the next thing they want to get they want to get annoyed about,
We caught you.
No, I stopped that one. I caught myself. That's what I'm saying. Realist. Yeah, Molly's saying it's a realist. It's just, that's what I mean, right? You look at something, it's like, you see it from both sides of the fence. I'm fully appreciative that my job could be wiped out by AI any day now, but I'm going to ride the wave whilst I can, and just, I've got no ill, what's the word? What's the damn word be? Ill, I don't know. I'm not hating on AI because of what it's doing. I'm looking at the positive side of things as well. And, you spin it, right? I don't know, man. It's a tricky topic, because there are so many, like, I know people who are artists who are vehemently against AI, and it gets really difficult to talk to them about anything like this, because straight away you get, it's like a tinderbox. You just light that spark, and the hatred is so vehement.
So offended. They get offended.
Exactly. I mean, that's where I am, though. Artists, 100%. I'm kind of in there.
Yeah.
I know, AP, you are in the QA field.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, like, this is something that obviously hangs over your head too. Again, not gaming related, but you're still in it, and it's still something we've seen. Is this a case of people are just throwing at it to see what works before a bubble pops?
I think so. I think it's more of a case where we should kind of wait and see where things happen, let things develop, and I guess kind of go as they will. The way my company's kind of doing it, I'll say, they've gone ahead and said, hey, if you want to, it would probably be in your best interest to, become familiar with generative AI as much as you can. use it in your everyday workflow to help you improve, to help you get better at it. Because at the end of the day, you want to be familiar with these kind of tools so you can use them in your everyday workflow. Because if we end up using them even more so, and you're not familiar with, that's where you could end up being on the chopping block that way, instead of on the other side of the coin where the AI is just flat out replacing you, right? So I feel like I like the fact that they've gone ahead and let us know, hey, make sure you're familiar with this kind of AI workflow, and make sure you're utilizing it often. I probably use it, I don't know, whenever I'm working, maybe every day to every other day, kind of give me a hand on like writing test cases and whatnot. Now, am I gonna go ahead and let it completely write test cases? No, I have to double check and make sure that the flow is exactly right, because otherwise, things could be incorrect. As we know, AI hallucinates a lot. If you don't know what that is, in tech speak, hallucination, whenever it comes to AI, is whenever it's basically making things up, or if something's incorrect. So, sometimes you'll have a few hallucinations here and there whenever AI will generate a response. So you have to double check and verify that kind of stuff. But I've liked the fact that my company's gone ahead and kind of been proactive about it, encouraging the employees to go ahead and, be proactive with it and work with it. Otherwise, if you don't know how it works, okay, well, maybe we'll find somebody else that does, and then you end up losing your job that way, right?
We had the same thing. Because I work in incident and problem management, right? And we had a thing where they said that, you're empowered to do what you can with AI. And we, for example, we'd have a thing where you'd have an incident, massive incident, something go wrong. I'm not going to talk about exactly what business I'm in, but something would go wrong. It would last days. You'd have to, come in on a Monday, and all this had kicked off on a Friday night, and over the weekend it's all happened. You come in on Monday morning, you're like, I don't know anything. We built an AI agent. We go onto it. We put in an incident number. It summarizes everything for you in a split second, and it tells you this is what happened. This is the ins and outs. Everything you need to know. Done. Do you want me to turn that into a PowerPoint for you? And it's things like that. For example, they're then helping me relay that information to the stakeholders in a way that makes sense, and that makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about, because
like
AI's just told me, right?
Yeah.
So things like, so people who I think the naivety comes from people that are unfamiliar with it, and they just see it from this like big evil. It's the same people who look at Xbox and they say, Microsoft, oh, you're charging us an absolute, a fortune for Game Pass, and they look at it from their perspective of, I don't like this, so everyone must not like this. That's the thing, right? That's where you get into the real debate of it. It's like, just because you don't like it doesn't mean there aren't thousands of people out there that it improves their everyday life. Like I was talking about healthcare earlier on, and the number of, how there's strides in hospitals being made. 80% of hospitals, and I can't remember what region it was or what territory it was, but they use AI, and doctors are using AI now to, for diagnosis and stuff. And it's obviously everything like that is an evolving process, right? But it's things like that are going to get, as it gets more accurate and it learns, and it could. I mean, I'm not going to go down the path of like this, saying it's like some miracle thing that's going to like diagnose you like months before a physician could or whatever. But that's the way you've got to look at it, down that path. Eventually, it's going to get to that point. I mean, I don't think we're going to ever reach a point where we say, I mean, we've seen some models online, in videos and stuff, where someone put in a prompt and it will generate like a game, and it looks absolutely awful. And that's going to be, that's a long way from being realized with inputs and everything. And it is obviously, it's Google have made strides and stuff, but it's never going to get to that point. But like, for a supplementary, keep your human workers on the books, but empower them to go out and make their lives easier, and allow the AI to do the rudimentary stuff whilst, I think in the games industry especially, there are so many positive use cases for it, from anti-cheat on down to customer support. They want to use, with millions and millions and millions of people now playing games, and the need to support that user base is more critical than ever. So you turn to AI chatbots and, solutions, and you go down a rabbit hole with this, but my standpoint is, at the end of the day, is that it's here to stay, it's here to evolve, and everyone else needs to kind of get on board and realize that if they don't, they're going to be the ones left in the dirt. Not the people that we're embracing it. You embrace it, happy days.
Tom, you've been quiet. I know this was something you said you might have a spicy take about. I don't know if you're going to top based on the reaction in the chat, Grant. But
all right, like I feel like Grant's taking all of my thunder away.
In what way? What you were on the same page as me, Tom? Or?
Yeah. So
I'm gonna cuss in a minute. I'm gonna cuss at someone.
I'm gonna try and break this down because I completely agree with everything that's been said from everyone. I think that unfortunately we are going through this transitional period at the moment where unfortunately people are going to lose their jobs and be let go because of AI and stuff. I'm working on a few stories at the moment of some developers actually training AI to eventually replace their jobs by the time the contract ends, for example, which is just extremely, sad, right? Like it's absolutely devastating for those people. But if they don't do that now, then they're going to lose the job, tomorrow rather than in 6, 9, 12 months time or whatever. So they're currently in that position. But yeah, I think in terms of where the gaming industry is concerned, we're just in this very weird transitional period where it is coming to the limelight. I think there is a few factors that are making it seem a lot worse than it is. For example, media coverage. We're probably guilty ourselves of doing it, of shedding AI in like the negative limelight.
I'll throw my hands up because that's been me since the start.
Yeah, but like I just think like Arc Raiders, for example, being snubbed for best audio design, I completely disagree with that because apart from the AI voices, I think Arc Raiders has one of the best audio in recent memory, to be honest. And you can't it's going to get to this problem where we then have to start judging everything based on its AI use, and it's just completely impractical. Like, can a game of the year be snubbed because it has generative art or whatever? I'm not sure on the other categories where it would probably apply because there isn't stuff like anti-cheat or whatever. But it's just this weird. We're in this just weird transitional period at the moment. But I can say that I think that AI is the best kind of thing to happen to the industry, especially considering everything going on, right? Like, we've just come out of this COVID boom. Player numbers are not increasing. I think this has been widely reported on, like the amount of gamers that are playing games in terms of like console market, and maybe PC market's increasing a little bit, and I guess you could say mobile, but mobile is mobile.
That real quick, Tom.
Yeah.
7-Eleven makes a great point on it. Now, again, I don't believe in it, but AI can be be the paint for a paintbrush, but never the paintbrush. That's kind of how I view it. That is exactly how I view it.
Yeah, but I think your point is exactly what I was going to say, is that it's very difficult for AI to replace art because that is just you just can't, right? Like, I mean, you can in the sense of like you can probably prompt quite a lot of stuff these days, but in terms of like the actual art, the art in itself, it's a completely different thing. But in terms of like generational art, like stuff like as well, like stuff, you got to remember that I think Grant, you said that this stuff's been around for years. Like, I think Battlefield 2042 originally was going to have like map generation and stuff like that. Like this stuff's been around for probably a decade.
You think like Grand Theft Auto 6 or something, one of the which is anticipated to be the biggest one they've ever made. You think games like that are coming out without the use of AI anywhere? Like, it's ludicrous people to think even the biggest Call of Duty had 2,000 odd developers or whatever. That's great. They're still using AI though. It's not. No one's getting away from this.
Yeah, you're naive to think.
Yeah, I guess just on my my point of like the industry and the current situation that we're in, like we've just come off the COVID boom. There's layoffs left, right, and center, and I think that if you don't want to, I mean, AI is going to see people laid off, but I think that AI is ultimately going to be the savior for a lot of people because it's gonna allow games to be made much faster. It's no longer. I don't think it's sustainable to have games, created in 7 to 10 years. I think probably in the next 3 to 4 years, with the help of AI, we're going to revert back to these 2-3 year development cycles, and that the cost is going to shoot all the way back down. And I think that's just what we need at the moment, to be honest, because I think the gaming, not the AI bubble, to be clear, but I think the gaming bubble as kind of, I wouldn't say fully burst, but it's definitely, been deflating now for the past couple of years. And I do think that AI could be kind of the savior in all of it. And again, like I that's nothing against the people who are being laid off and all that kind of stuff, because I'm working on stories at the moment. I know people who have been laid off because of AI. I'm speaking to people who are disappointed in the use of art in AI, for example. But you can't tell me that if a game going through the concept phase, for example, we'll use this as an example, but I'm currently, as we all know, I'll do my weekly plug for the books that I'm working on cancelled video games. But I'm working on a book on cancelled video games, and in this book there is a project in there that cost, I think it was around 30 million just for the concept phase and the vertical slice, and millions of that was on concept art, for example. And again, I don't mean this in the sense to insult concept artists and all that kind of stuff, but the costs could have been so much more significantly reduced with very basic, AI prompts and that kind of stuff. And it's something that we are seeing implemented across I would say more studios that you can imagine at the moment. I think Ubisoft has just gone through it with the latest Anno game or whatever it was, where some AI usage slipped through the cracks. But Ubisoft have their own AI, chat GBT. I can't remember what it's called.
No, it was a weird ass name though, because we've reported on it. My thing too that people aren't really talking about and we haven't really touched on is, in my mind, I keep thinking, sure, it can cut costs from the business side, but you're also looking at rising costs for supplies. You're looking at rising costs in general. I mean, there's what was it? In the States alone, there was a big Bloomberg case study on the correlation between data centers and AI centers rising, that you are hosting everything people are using AI for, and the rising costs of electricity and things like that, and people being and just even people with not even the electrician down the road, his bills are going higher and higher because of people wanting to keep jumping on this AI train. So it's one of those things of it's this weird, it's hurting at this point. There's the phrase AI is at the worst it's ever going to be at this point. But we are at a point where we're going to see a lot of people not even in the industry impacted because of decisions within the industry.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah, that's nothing to do with AI though, right? That's sorry.
Well, no, it is because of the fact the demand of it. The demand of it is so much, it's just going to keep expanding and expanding, which leads to
I would say that's a supply and demand issue though, right?
No, not a supply and I mean,
well, in terms of data centers and all that kind of stuff,
maybe AI isn't the problem. Maybe humans are the problem.
Well, yeah, we've been the problem since day one. My kids got
AI is here because of humans.
My kids have a book called "What Makes a Monster," and it's like dinosaurs and sharks, and at the end, it's a whole section about humans being the biggest monsters of all, and it caught me so off guard.
And this is the thing that makes me laugh as well. When you see Just Stop Oil or something or whatever it is in the UK where they do their protests and stuff, and everyone always jumps on that. Oh, how did you get there to your protest? You took a train or something or whatever, took a car or But then it's people obviously getting on the hype with electric cars and and there's they're bad for the planet, with the production of the batteries that go in cars and
with
all
the
that
lithium
kind of stuff.
and the mining of the cobalt
and then the strain on the grids, because you can't have, you know, if everyone suddenly went out and got an electric car, the grid would be able to support everyone charging them and things like that. It's like we're making these immense strides towards, I don't know, saving the planet or whatever, if you want to look at it in some skewed way. And then still there are things wrong with that. It's like nothing is a perfect solution. Someone's always going to get hurt somewhere, no matter what you want to do. You know, nothing is perfect. There's like, what is there that you can do that's, what's that episode of Friends where Phoebe's trying to do like a selfless act, and everything she does that she thinks is selfless has something attached to it that she gets joy from. It's a similar thing, isn't it? It's like you could be as like there's always something wrong, you know. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's nothing everyone's going to complain about something. Nothing's perfect, but yeah, it's tricky. It's one of those things where you're not ever going to please anyone. But I think if this video has shown anything, it's that podcast. Although
I mean, it's on video.
We'll become a VOD. If it shows anything, if we were to take a survey or to kind of take some analytics back from this, it's that people that are kind of standing against AI are in the minority. So
yeah. I don't know if it's the minority, but it is, and I think it'll stay this way. It's the most divisive topic in gaming we've had.
Yeah.
Like people still talk about exclusives and whether they should say this is 10 times bigger of a divisive topic than, you know, Xbots and bronies and all that, you know.
Yeah. I don't,
that's the thing of the past now. Console wars don't exist.
Except in that great game that I am 3-7 in. Console wars will still exist because of that.
Yeah. What I will quickly say on art and stuff like that, because I think I can't remember who mentioned it, but on the Call of Duty calling card stuff. So that in that instance in particular, for example, I think is just bullshit. Like, you're not saving all that much money, right? Like, you know, I don't
and
know
you're using somebody's created art
it takes
style.
an hour to.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know how much they charge or whatever, but in like the grand scheme of things, you're saving $1,000 or whatever. But what I would say in stuff in those circumstances is, right, don't use generative art or whatever. Just do simple things and get the community involved. I guarantee you that if they did a competition of, hey, we want to put, you know, your calling card in the game, and you would win a free copy of Black Ops 6 or 7 or whatever, you know, the latest one, 7. They would have got thousands of submissions, hundreds of thousands, and it completely eliminates that issue.
And the thing is, what bothered me the most on that one is they took somebody's art style that they spent time crafting and making, and they didn't even tweak it. It was just theirs.
Yeah.
That's where I start. That's why when it comes to the art, I get really pissed.
And there was no disclosure, was there? I don't think. They just
say,
correct me if I'm wrong either way. I don't know if they've confirmed either way, but
no, they just say like we've used AI in generating for assets. They're very vague in their disclaimer.
Like that's why people kicked off about Embark, and this really, it pissed me off something chronic. Not just because I'm a big fan of art creators and what Embark has done, because that studio has gone from leaps and bounds in the last couple of years, but. Watch out for access granted in the future. But like I'm saying, like the amount of people that have thrown hate on and shade on that game because of their use of AI. But it's like they're one of the examples of doing it in the right way. Like they've admitted how they've done it and what the benefit is, and the fact that these people have gone away with cash in their pockets. You know, and sometimes it might be using voice actors that they're just getting started or they're just getting their name out there or whatever, and they've got a gig, they've got a payday. You know, and then it enables them to do things quicker because they can say, okay, we've got your voice on file. You're going to sign a contract, say we can use it. We're going to pay you fairly. And then, hey, when we need to do a new whatever, we need a new line for your character. We'll just press a button and it's generated and it's done. And they're like, okay, that's fine. I'm still credited. I'm still paying. I don't really care. You know, this is when I was talking to Doug Cockle a couple of years back, the voice actor behind Geralt from The Witcher, and he was saying that, you know, voice replication in a shady way is just straight theft. If you're doing
that was a big reason for the voice actor strike.
Exactly. Exactly. That was because they're doing it. They're doing it, and they're not. There's no permissions. There's no regulation around it. There's no compensation, and that's what they say. At the end of the day, they just want their recognition, and they want a payday. You know, not to paint that in a negative light, because it's not. Money makes the world go round. You know, it's just like they, as long as they're fairly compensated for what, who cares, man? Like in the nicest way possible. Who gives a fuck? They've signed their contract. It's their voice, right? Who's out there complaining about Embark using AI? So what? It's not your voice. It's deal with it, man.
Yeah, if the artist, if the voice actor and whatnot, they're signing the right. It's when it's, and granted, we haven't seen this in gaming yet. We've seen it in other forms of art and media.
Right.
I mean, we're seeing it with the Call of Duty stuff, but when they're without permission, just generating it or using somebody's that's when it becomes a major issue. That is like the biggest thing. If they come out.
Yeah, I think the biggest one is in the UK. The woman who does the train announcements. She had her voice completely ripped without any like say or anything like that, and she was on the train and she heard herself saying next stop is wherever. And she's like, well, I don't remember fucking saying that.
That is the thing, because that's when I was talking to Doug, and he said there was some mobile game on TikTok had used his voice, and he had to go through legal channels to get it taken down and stuff. That is obviously
right now it's like a wild
exactly.
West.
I think we are just in this transitional period now, and it's like if you're a hater of that stuff that is done it right, like in the instance of Embark, what would you say if they didn't use it, for this specific example? I'm not saying it cost millions or whatever, but if they didn't, they cut out AI for all of their development, and it cost it doubled the price of the game, and then they released and it didn't sell, and then they had to lay everyone off or a portion, what would you say then?
Because I still haven't played the game, so I have no.
Well, okay, yeah, but I think that's the point, right? Like, I know that Embark is quite a big studio now. I think they're about 300-400 people, somewhere around there.
How come they're not up for Indie Game of the Year? But I'm not. Well, maybe we'll talk about that on Insider Access.
Yeah.
They're not indie. They're owned by Nexon.
But let's just say, like, if this was a studio of 20 people that used AI and did it the right way of Embark, would there be a lot of outrage? If that was a game that sold 5 to 10 million, probably not. It's just because it's a big-ish studio owned by Nexon that everyone's like, oh shit. That's just how it is. And I think the media has a big play in that, just playing to the the standard developer and the relationships and all that kind of stuff.
And I think I said it's a noisy majority. It's a noisy minority, really, because it's selling. It's topping the charts on Steam a month after launch. It's topping the charts on Twitch month after launch. Everyone's loving it. There's content campaigns coming out. There's updates coming out. They're not slowing down. Players aren't slowing down. It's just a noisy minority. It's not going to slow down in sales.
It's just a transition period at the end of the day. I think in 2 or 3 years this will be a non-topic.
No, I think they'll figure out a way to
use already
it
be a
without...
non-topic.
Yeah, but it like. I think
a
good example is just because I've been to the airport a few times recently is like the passport self-face scanners. I absolutely hate it when I'm with Charlie and I have to go through the family lane to see an actual person because the queues are so long. But because of like the use of the face recognition and all that kind of stuff, like it just, I don't know, it just goes faster. And I guess the point is, the faster that games are made, the cheaper it is, and the more games we'll get.
So we think.
Well, people as well are looking at it. They're framing it wrong, right? Look at some more nefarious things, right? Like data collection and surveillance and all. I don't think like people are hot on the right things. Focusing on AI is the wrong thing now. Look at like. I don't hear nearly as many people complaining about things like that. Like, Big Brother, your every move is being watched, and you speak about something, and then suddenly you open TikTok, and there's an ad for it on your phone or whatever, and people are like just blowing by. This is
a lot of people
we need to be looking at, right?
On that front, without getting too far down that rabbit hole, because on the gaming side, you feel you can make. There's a much bigger chance of the voices of gamers being heard. Because it's a smaller thing at the end of the day. If you can make a change,
show me the change that's been made by noisy people shouting about AI, and I will change my ways.
I think all that stuff's just down to the chip that they put into us when we're babies.
Oh yeah, you got that as well. Yeah.
Mine, it's called
Itches
Tylenol.
sometimes.
It was called Tylenol. Too much Tylenol was given to me as a kid. So now I watch the Weather Channel and I collect unopened games of Monopoly. And my son asked me to play it the other day. He's like, "Why can't we play that Pokemon Monopoly? If you ever open that, you are up for adoption, young man." Like,
Do you know what I think we're going to do next episode? I am going to be instead of me sitting here, I'm going to get some AI representative to be me the entire episode, and we'll see how it pans out.
they'd probably do better than you.
Oh,
Well, that's AI. If it does better than me, that's AI. That's it. That's the way the chips fall. You know,
Been replaced. He's been replaced. No, Grant, you make a good point though. Whenever you were talking about like the whole privacy thing, like think about it. Whenever we play video games, whenever you boot it up for the very first time, you have to go through the end user license agreement, the EULA, as a lot of
No
people
one
know.
reads it.
Exactly. You just
Except-
took my thunder
yeah,
right
give me
there.
Except
one
Butters.
Who freaking
Butters read
reads
it.
that. Exactly. You just
Butters read it
scroll
because he
down.
didn't want Apple to sow his mouth to the rectum of another iTunes user.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
7-Eleven makes a great point. And this is something that's pissed me off. And thank God I stock up and I have so many extra components. AI making the price of RAM and graphics cards suck. Graphics cards have sucked for years because they know people will buy them anyway. NVIDIA. Storage, SSD storage, and memory. This is new. Memory used to be the cheapest component you can buy for your new build. I wrote a story yesterday because I dug into some pricing on outlets or e-tailers. RAM prices in the past 3 weeks have skyrocketed up to 250% and beyond. You're looking at 16 gigs of RAM that at November 1st was $78 because of the shortage, because of AI data centers globbing them all up. You're looking at a price of an increase of 128% to $177. And this is only going to get worse. So if you don't have, and a lot of these prices, if you're tuning in and you want to build a computer, by the way, buy your stuff before December 7th. Just buy your stuff before next Friday or next Sunday, solely because December 8th is when a lot of these companies are planning to enact their price increases. We're talking about AMD. We're talking about Corsair. We're talking like they're enacting their full on price. And it's because these companies building data centers are buying up the memory specifically from DDR5 and that generation, and it's pulling. They're using it all. They can't keep up with the manufacturing. Also because of the manufacturing, they were just catching up to the manufacturing issues from COVID. Like over the past year and a half did they finally catch up from that.
Holy crap!
And now we're back to this. So yeah, if you're looking at building a computer, you can 100% blame AI on that one, or at least the executives leading the charge who know nothing about it. But we do have to wind up this. We could keep going for another hour.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot to say, but I'm conscious of time.
We are. We'll probably talk more if you're tuning in now and you're or live. We are recording after this our episode of Insider Access exclusively for Premium Plus members on the Insider Gaming app. That will go live on Saturday afternoon if you're watching this live. If you are listening to this Saturday afternoon, just November 29th is when it will go live on the app. So tune in to that. It's just an extension of this show for things we couldn't get to and stuff and all that. We also have in the works more episodes of Access Granted. The debut finally of Straw and Order once my prompter comes in on Monday, because recording it the way I had was messing with me something fierce and my kids were mocking me. And I'll tell that story later too about how my kids were mocking me. And we have so much more. Party Chat with Jez is up on the YouTube channel. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. You can find us at Insider Gaming IG, at insidergaming.com on Blue Sky, Insider_Gaming on YouTube. Download the app. I'm going to be annoying with it. Download it, rate it. It was months in the making. Fuzzy, thank you. See, Fuzzy did things he's passionate about in the chat. Mind you, Fuzzy was our first Premium Plus subscriber. Fuzzy is very passionate about his stance on AI, and the fact that I refuse to shut him down with it. Like, if everybody will feel a certain way with it, and that's just how it is. Because I lean more towards the Fuzzy side than I do the Grant side and the Tom side. Like, that's where I lean. But you can check us out. We will never silence your opinions here on Insider Gaming Weekly. And AP, it's on you as always.
Thank you so much, Mike. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Smash that like button on the way out. I'm, of course, your host with the most A to the P, Albert Perkins, and we will see you on the inside.